All right, let's dive into an idea from Robert Kiyosaki that might just completely flip how you think about your job, your money, and, well, your entire future. It's called the Cashflow Quadrant, and you can think of it like a map that shows the 4 basic ways people earn their living. It could be the key to figuring out your own financial story.
So does this hit close to home? You're putting in all the hours, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do, but at the end of the month, it feels like you're barely keeping your head above water. You work even harder, but that dream of financial freedom just doesn't seem to get any closer. It's a really frustrating place to be, and trust me, you are not the only one feeling it.
You know, for most of us, this is just normal. We're told the same story from day one. Study hard, land a good job, get that steady paycheck. And yeah, that path promises security, but for a lot of people, it just turns into a non-stop loop. You've probably heard it called the rat race.
And here's what that trap actually feels like. You're working these long 8 to 10-hour days. The salary hits your account and poof, it's gone. Eaten up by bills and expenses that always seem to be a little bit more than you make. And those promotions we're all chasing, they look great on paper, but a lot of the time you're just trading your free time for more responsibility and a whole lot more stress. You're still stuck on that wheel.
This right here perfectly sums up the problem. Getting a bigger salary or that next promotion feels like you're winning, but it's often just a temporary fix. It's exactly like putting a plaster on a wound. Sure, it covers up the issue for a little while, but it doesn't do anything to heal what's actually wrong underneath.
So, this brings us to a much bigger question. What if the problem isn't your motivation? What if you're not lazy and you're not doing it wrong? The source material makes a bold claim. The real issue is a huge misunderstanding of how money and income fundamentally work. And boom, there it is. This is the core idea that changes everything. See, we're all trained to focus on the amount of money we make. What's my salary? What's my hourly rate? But what if the way you earn that money, the structure behind it, is actually the thing that matters most for real, long-term freedom?
And this is exactly where the Cashflow Quadrant comes in. Seriously, just think of it as a map. It's not here to judge you, it's here to show you where you are right now. But more importantly, it shows you all the other places you could go and the different roads you can take to get there.
So here it is, the cash flow quadrant. According to this model, everyone who earns an income fits into one of these 4 categories: E, S, B, or I. And each letter isn't just about what you do for a living. It represents a completely different mindset, a different set of values when it comes to money, risk, and freedom. Let's break down what each one really means.
First up, we've got the E quadrant. This is the employee. For an E, the #1 value is security. You have a job, you work for somebody else's company, and the main path to success is seen as climbing that corporate ladder for the next promotion and the next pay raise.
Next is the S quadrant. This is for the self-employed or the small business owner. The biggest value here? Independence, control. You're talking about freelancers, specialists, doctors, small shop owners. They are their own boss, which is great, but here's the catch. They are directly trading their own time for money. If they don't show up and work, the income stops. Now we're hopping over to the right side of the quadrant with B, the big business owner. Their most important value is freedom. Here's the key difference. Unlike an S, a B doesn't own a job, they own a system. They build a business that can generate profit even when they're not there, because they hire smart people to run that system for them. And finally, we have the I quadrant, the investor. The goal here is also freedom, but they get there a different way. Investors make their money work for them. They put their capital into assets, things like other businesses, real estate, stocks, that generate more money, creating income streams that don't depend on their time. So just take a second here and think about it for yourself. Where does most of your income come from right now? Are you an E, an S, a B, or an I? Just knowing where you are on the map is the critical first step if you want to change your destination. Okay, so what is the real secret sauce difference between the left side of this map, the E's and S's, and the right side, the B's and I's? Well, it all comes down to a single, incredibly powerful idea: leverage. This slide lays it out so clearly. People on the left side, the employees and self-employed, are basically using their own time and their own money to earn a living. But the people on the right side, they've figured out how to use other people's time, or OPT, and other people's money, OPM. And that, right there, is the secret to creating massive wealth. And here's exactly how that works. A business owner in the B quadrant builds a system and then hires employees. That's using other people's time. They might also get funding from investors to grow faster. That's other people's money.
An investor in the I quadrant does the same thing. They might pool money from other investors, more OPM, to buy a huge apartment building and then hire a management company to run it, using their time, or OPT.
Now you're probably thinking, okay, if the right side is the place to be, why doesn't everybody just move over there? Well, the source argues it's really hard. Because we get stuck. It's not just a financial problem, it's a mindset problem, an identity problem.
This is such a powerful way to think about it. We don't just work in a quadrant, we get psychologically hooked on it. An employee gets comfortable with that predictable, steady paycheck. A freelancer gets addicted to that feeling of being in total control. That comfort zone becomes a kind of addiction that makes any real change feel terrifying and just wrong. And that's the real reason it's so tough. Moving from, say, an E to a B isn't just a career switch, it's a deep identity shift. Think about it. Our families, our schools, they all raised us to value the safety and security of the E quadrant. We're taught from a young age that mistakes are bad, that you should avoid risk at all costs. But to succeed in the B and I quadrants, you have to take calculated risks. You have to be willing to make mistakes and learn from them. It's a completely different rulebook.
So how in the world do you make that leap? Well, the advice is pretty straightforward, but that doesn't mean it's easy. The transition begins when you change your environment. You have to start surrounding yourself with people who are already playing the game you want to play. Find mentors who are already successful in the B and I quadrants. Absorb how they think. Learn from their experiences. Slowly but surely, their mindset will start to rub off on you.
Look, at the end of the day, the cash flow quadrant is just a tool. It's a way for you to see your own financial life with fresh eyes. It proves that the road you're on right now isn't the only one out there. So the final question really is for you. Now that you've seen the map, what's the next chapter in your financial story going to be?